Tell us we're keeping up with non-football and baseball-related activities. A lot of college basketball going on, hockey, and certainly into peak time for soccer. The Harrisburg Heat came down and played the Baltimore Blast on the new local turf up there in Towson at the CQ Arena. This guy is our friend, our sponsor on behalf of There Goes My Hero and all the swabbing we do. And here for Fremont Mortgage and the Harrisburg Heat, who are taking on the Blast and have a couple of big games up in Harrisburg, we welcome our pal Carl Delmont back on from Fremont Mortgage, amongst others. First things first here on the soccer side of things. You know, you don't like losing to the Blast. You always talk about Ed being a mentor to you and getting involved in the league. You lost to him last week, but this is nice when you get a chance for a little revenge next week, right?
We'll see. I mean, we won the first game, and, the second game was really close. We lost in overtime. A lot of people will question the goal that the ref missed, but I think, there was many more opportunities we had on that, so I can't hang it on that one. But, this last game, we just got blown out. I don't know what happened. They had a brand new goalie that showed up an hour before the game, and, good news, my friend William Vanzella, the Blast goalie, is he's injured, but, there's a good chance there's not going to be surgery, so I think he'll be back. If not this season, he'll definitely be back in full, the following year, but he's in great shape. He'll be fine. But, we had it all. The script was perfect for us to win. And not only did we not win, we played our worst ever against them. So, injuries have hurt us, but I'm tired of that excuse. It's just time to really dig down, and hopefully we can make amends this weekend.
Couple of games this weekend, and I would say for your league and for where the Blast have been over the course of, more than 3 decades now of my fandom, it was always nice when Harrisburg had a strong franchise and there was sort of the back and forth that I remember, quite frankly, from the Hershey Bears days, the Skip Jackson, the Clippers, and going back to those days up and down I-83, trying to develop a little bit of momentum for a rivalry here. The fact that both of you have beaten each other, the fact that you did play in the playoffs, there's been a lot of good things that have happened here in the year and a half since your involvement, and I think a lot of it will sort of emanate from the Blast too, right? And from what's been left of that over a couple of decades.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you go to social media, you'll see a lot of Blast haters say that, they never had a competition, et cetera, but honestly, I mean, Florida right now, they've really rebuilt. They're a good team. Syracuse is having a great season. And, the Heat, for, 4 years, we're a doormat. And, we came back, turned things around, and, now we're a legitimate threat. I mean, by all measures, we should be 2-1 against the Blast. But, it's why you play the game, get the results, and we didn't get the result this time. But hopefully we'll get it on Friday night.
He is Carl Delmont. He's our friend from Fremont Mortgage. You can find them out at Fremont.com. I want to turn it to, by the way, home on Friday against the Blast up in Harrisburg, and then Saturday night as well. You can learn more about the schedule, the match. Say hello to Dennison, Blast legend, and my pal from Brazil at HarrisburgHeat.com. I want to move to mortgages and taxes. I actually met with my accountant this week trying to get sort of a little bit of a head start before I run off to the Super Bowl next week to Minnesota and all that stuff that I'm going to be doing here, and you sort of lose sight of all that. You look up, you're like, oh, it's April what, right? A lot of scams out there, right? And I know that that's been something that I've been seeing a lot more on the news beginning of the year, a little bit of extra time, people homebound, answering the phone, doing all sorts of crazy things, right?
Yeah, I mean, the number one thing to remember is the IRS is never going to call or email you. The only way to correspond is through, mail, regular mail, U.S. mail. So if you get an email from the IRS or you get a phone call, ignore it. Be on the lookout. The other thing is with Equifax breach, a lot of people are advising, with your taxes, make sure you talk to your tax advisor, try to get a PIN number, try to do all these other things to protect yourself. But, there's just a lot of scams going on out there. And I think, when it comes to taxes, a lot of people wait till the last minute. The other thing to look at too is if you do the advanced things where you get your refund and a loan ahead of time, just make sure you understand the terms that come along with that, because a lot of times, people end up spending all that money right away, and then they end up having that debt for a while. So I think, right now, I think 2018, the best thing to do for people is really sit down, try to understand finances, your credit cards, how they work, and then, have a budget and try to put some money away. A recent survey just said that only I think 13% of Americans have like $1,000 in emergency funds.
Yeah, I saw some crazy statistic about the net worth of every person in Detroit being like $8 or something. It's just crazy when you add it all up. And this is a time of the year when you're a little bit homebound. You can usually see in my office, I got paper scattered everywhere this time of year because it is cold. You are inside. You're not out on a deck, having a beverage the way you want to in the spring and in the summer. It is a time where, I find it for me to be a regrouping time, especially for me personally when the Ravens aren't playing in January. It sort of opens up my schedule to work on my business, on my life, on my condo, on all of that stuff to take stock, right? Much like we have our friends at Planet Fitness to say get in shape, this is a chance for you to get your finances and budget and mortgage and all of that. And as you know, you sit at the top of that whole food chain, Carl. The mortgage will be the number one thing on everybody's diet, right?
Oh, yeah. If you look at it, aside from student loan debt, your mortgage is probably the biggest monthly expense anyone's going to have. And you say that and it sounds daunting, but really, people who own homes usually have a much higher net worth. And, just an article just today in one of the magazines, people in New York, because the home values are so high, they're selling and moving down south, finding less expensive real estate, and they're supplementing retirement with a ton of money because, remember, even with the new tax laws, if you own a home, as long as you live there long enough, your primary residence, that equity is tax-free. So up to a certain number, obviously. But, think about it. You retire and you got your 401k, your Roth, and whatever else you may have, and maybe another $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 tax-free that helps you out. That's not a bad thing. So, but, homeownership's not for everyone. It's a privilege. It's not a right. There's some people who just don't want the responsibility. But for those who are interested, we're working on a couple great workshops. We'll be announcing them soon, absolutely free, limited amount, probably like 25, 30 people. But how to buy or refinance in today's market, plus how to improve your credit scores. And we'll have someone there who has a real credit simulator work with everybody. So stay tuned for that. We're really excited. It'll probably be in February and early March.
Hey, man, I really appreciate the tips. I know everybody does as well. You can learn more out at Freedmont.com. And, of course, Carl, the owner of the Harrisburg Heat, trying to beat the Blast this weekend up there in Harrisburg. I know time's short. You got a couple of games this weekend. Give everybody all the legal details and all the things they need to know about Freedmont, where you guys stand out there.
Sure. You can reach us at 800-955-8508, or, of course, our Facebook page and our website, Freedmont, FREEDMONT.com, and MLS number 1067.
One time I'm going to remember 1067. I'll get to that point. Carl, always a pleasure, man. Good luck this weekend against the Blast. Stay warm, all right?
I appreciate it. Thank you.
I'm packing my long johns from Minnesota. We're headed off to Super Bowl 52. We are fully expecting Ray Lewis to be inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame this summer. Trips up August 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th off to Cleveland, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. We're doing some baseball. We're doing, obviously, the Football Hall of Fame, the induction ceremony. Expecting the Ravens to play in the Thursday night game out there to kick off the season. So there's an opportunity to go to that as well. It's all under the Road Trips tab at WNST.net. Nasty at WNST.net finds me. Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Snapchat, Instagram will be streaming live all week next week from the Mall of America out in Bloomington, Minnesota. I'll be wearing my green Ravens hat that screws up our cameras and the green screen as well. Luke will be riding shotgun. My wife will be producing late in the week, and we're going to have some fun. So hope to hear from you, see from you out on social media. Nasty at WNST.net does reach me, and we hope that you make it on our Ray Lewis trip as well. Speaking of Ray Lewis and the last ride of 52, the Purple Rain 2, 24 chapters, a chapter a day, every day. This weekend, you'll be getting chapters 13, 14, 15, 16, heading on, straight on to New Orleans, and all things 5th anniversary next weekend of the scene of the crime. It is crazy that Ray Lewis is going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame on the 5-year anniversary of winning the Super Bowl and his last ride and 4th and 1 at the goal line. Almost like a movie script, Purple Rain 2. So you'll want to see that out online, and a chapter a day keeps, the blues away, the purple blues away, I guess. It's all in the morning newspaper as well. It's all brought to you by Planet Fitness and Planet Fitness, where it's still $10 a month. We deliver it, including Purple Rain, including all of our stuff from Minnesota. Next week, if there's any breaking news, if Manny Machado gets dealt off the Oriole giveaway list, we'll put you on it first. It's the WNST Tech Service. It's all brought to you by Coons Ford of Security Boulevard. I'm Nestor. We are WNST.net, AM 1570 and WNST Towson, Baltimore. And we never stop talking Baltimore sports.